Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we're going to be making delicious vegetable patty stew. You know those stew they share in occasions, say child dedication, house birthday party and what have you. So this is just a recipe that covers all of those small gatherings. Maybe you're tired of the regular jollof rice they share in party. So this recipe is strictly for, you can try it out while cooking your Sunday stew or dough, but then this is for party. It's for party. It's a party stew. So to get started, let's introduce the ingredients. This is our green pepper, sweet green pepper. We have our carrots and peas. We also have our chopped onion. This is Dencekitchen all-purpose spice. Very wonderful spice. Seriously, you should try this. This spice comprises of every natural spice you know, from your ginger to your garlic to your paprika, everything like that. We also have our Maggi. We'll be using no chicken for this recipe. We have our fresh garlic and ginger. I had to use the fresh one, even though it's included in Dencekitchen spice. We'll be using a sachet of tomato, sachet tomato. We also have another spice, chicken flavor. This is from Kitchen Glory. Kitchen Glory chicken flavor. We have our vegetable oil, our salt, very important. We also have our meat. This is already washed and well cut. As you can see, the cut is not big, neither is it small. You don't want to serve your guests a touch of meat in your occasion, so you should be very meticulous while cutting your meat. We also have here spring onions, already washed and chopped. And the biggest ingredient for this recipe is our blended tomato. The blended tomato comprises of shombo, the red. We have shombo, that's the long red pepper. We also have what's it called, red bell pepper inside of that mixture. We have the normal atarodo, which is fresh pepper. All of this has been blended, neatly washed, blended and sieved. As you can see, there's no water dripping from it, and see how thick it is. That's to tell all the water has been drained out already. So as you can see, it's very rich. I used equal amount of tomato, shombo and tatashe to get that consistency. So we'll get started. First off, we'll be starting with our meat. We'll have to prepare our meat, get it steamed. So to your pot, you add your sliced meat into it. Remember I said I've washed this meat already, so I had to put more water to just rinse off remaining dirt, whatever it is that is still left in there. So you place it in a neat pot. After you've turned on your gas cooker, you place it in a pot. See the consistency of meat. You should get a meat that will be enough for your occasion. Please, the meat should be very much. If you're expecting 50 guests, you have to buy your sliced meat should be above 50. You understand? So you put in your chopped onion. Don't mind my camera. You put in your chopped onion. See, it's already releasing bubbles. That's the style the meat is steaming already. You go ahead and add your Maggi, and finally we'll be adding our Dencekitchen spice. With this spice, you don't need your curry, thyme, whatever, because everything is already blended here. This spice, the cover has two faces, so we'll be using the bigger part because we need it enough for the meat to be well steamed. So after you've put that, you're going to add your salt to taste. This is basically what everyone knows. You put enough salt for your meat. Like I said, you don't need curry, you don't need artificial spices. You want to turn this so it will blend and go into other parts of the meat. Now, as we're waiting for our meat to be ready, we'll be starting the frying process. We want to buy time, so while this is doing its thing, while the meat is doing its thing, we'll be frying our tomato, so it will save time. That's how to do it. And since in every household these days you find 2 gas burner, 4 gas burners, so let's utilize that advantage. So we'll be pouring our vegetable oil. Make sure you put enough, I use 750 cl groundnut oil, but I won't be finishing this bottle because it's quite much. But be sure to add equivalent to your tomato, something that will be able to fry your tomato well. So your groundnut oil should be much, the quantity should be reasonable. That was what that was the left out of from the groundnut oil. Check if it is heated and go ahead and add your chopped spring onion. I'll be dividing this into two because we'll still come back to it. Remember, this recipe is vegetable patty stew. Sorry, this is vegetable patty stew, so you need all the vegetables you can lay your hands on. So we'll go ahead and add our chopped onion. The onion is very fine. I had to cut it in ring form because this is stew, so we need a lot of onions in there. So more also, since our you allow your onion to be translucent, allow it to do its thing for like 2 minutes before adding your sachet tomato. So this sachet tomato, I know you'll be wondering why I'm using just one sachet. That's because my shombo is enough. As you can see, my tomato is very thick. It's a paste on its own, so I shouldn't add more than one tomato paste. It will be too much. So while my oil is heating up with the onion, I'll add my Dencekitchen spice. You want to add it to the groundnut oil. This gives it a very nice flavor. Your neighbors will be calling your name. Try this method. Fry your groundnut oil with some Dencekitchen spice or any spice of your choice. The result is usually outstanding. So you turn in your salt. This salt will enable you know when your tomato is ready, because tomato has a sour taste. So if you don't put your salt, you'll be confused as to knowing if the tomato is ready or not, if it's well dried or not. So after adding your salt, you put in your tomato paste. Put in your tomato paste. Please, one is enough. If you're using shombo and tatashe, I like everything I'm doing so natural. I like my food natural and healthy. So you don't want to be combining, using 5. I see people use 5 tin tomatoes. Well, what are you cooking? It's too much. Tomato is cheap these days, so you can make a paste on your own rather than buy these ones they sell in the market. So you give this a good mix, allow it to fry for some time. This sachet tomato usually is not dry. Its sour taste is even more than that of fresh tomato, so you want to leave it to dry a bit before adding your tomato to it. So just ensure it's dry. While we are waiting for that to get ready, we'll chop our fresh ginger and garlic. Remember, there is ginger and garlic in the Dencekitchen all-purpose spice, but because we want to add a bit of freshness to it, and like I said during the introduction, this is vegetable patty stew, so there's no vegetable whatever when there is no garlic and ginger, fresh garlic and ginger. So part of this recipe, you just need fresh garlic and ginger. It's a vegetable stew, so it's very important to chop it and put it there. Give it a good mix. Allow to stand for a minute or two. Allow this to stand for a minute or two before adding your fresh tomato. As you can see, there's no water dripping from my fresh tomato. See how thick it is. No water at all. This is a basket, this is a filter, and yet there's no water dripping from the tomato. I had to leave this to stand. I had to leave the tomato after blending to stand for about 20 minutes before using it. Hope you understand my point. I had to leave it to stand, like I allowed the water to go out from the filter before adding it to my fried tomato. I know you understand my point. See how thick it is. And mind you, I have to blend this roughly. I don't like my tomato too smooth. It's not usually nice. I'm not a Yoruba woman, so I want it, roughly blended. That's the recipe. That's just it. For any stew I'm making, I prefer a roughly blended tomato. See how thick this looks. So after turning, you cover and allow to fry for 10 minutes before we check back on it. Remember to always check on your meat though, so it won't get burnt. So it's 10 minutes already, and see what our tomato looks like. It's already dry. As you can see, the oil is at the top. Look at my oil. it's at the same level with the tomato. You don't want to add too much, you don't want to add little. So as you can see, it's at the same level with my tomato. It's already dry. The tomato is already dry, so the groundnut oil had to come up. That's just the simplest way to know that your tomato is dry. You can also test if you actually know a dried tomato from testing. So we'll go ahead and add our chicken flavor. Well, I prefer Kitchen Glory, although all these spices, they are just the same, all these artificial spices. So I'll be using just one of it. I'll go ahead and add one Maggi, or probably I'll add another half of the other one, since it's a big stew, so I want it to come out great. But I'm not a fan of Maggi, so I will just add one of the pear. I'll add just one of the pear. So give this a very good stir. Very good stir. You test for salt, test for pepper, test for everything you want to test for at this point. Oh my god, the flavor, the aroma from this stew is just making me feel somehow. I feel like cooking my rice now, like now, because it's really nice. The flavor, this will get your neighbors coming knocking at your door. And if you serve this in your occasion, man, your guests will leave with testimonies. So it's time to add our meat. As you can see, the meat is well soft. It's well cooked already. I didn't fry this meat, so it gets why I prefer my meat this way. I don't like frying it. So but if you can fry yours, it's all good. Go ahead and fry your meat. As you can see, I had to pour everything inside the stew. But if you want to fry your meat, you can fry and set aside. So while dishing, you just, after dishing your rice, you go ahead and add your fried meat separately to it. But with this, it's just easier. You carry your stew, carry your meat together, and just serve it. I like simple things. I don't like stress. I don't like stress in my life, so I'll just do it that way. Man, the pepper from this, Jesus, it's so hot. It's very hot. This stew is giving hot. I can't even stop testing this. Oh my god. I'll test this whole stew. So you go ahead and add more Dencekitchen. Like I said, this is the main spice for this recipe. It's the main spice I use. Dencekitchen all-purpose is just the best you can have. Okay, so it's time to put in our vegetables. But as you can see, this stew is very thick. And since this is for party, man, you have to add some water so it will go round. You add more water. But first off, let's go in with our vegetables. For the vegetables, you have the sweet green pepper, some leftover onions, and carrots and green peas. You see, I added it in very big quantity because this is vegetable party stew. Remember, we have our leftover spring onion. Please don't forget to don't forget about that. So we'll add it. See what it looks like. This is so good looking. It's very good looking. This is beautiful. This is very nice. It looks so great. So at this point, we'll be adding our water. I don't like it watery, but you can do yours anyhow you want it. You can add more water, but I prefer my stew very thick. I will only mind how I serve it. So I'll just serve a little portion with the rice instead of putting the stew all over the rice. So this is the consistency I prefer. And as this stew is, it can serve 50 guests. Trust me, this stew will serve 50 guests. So for your child dedication, you don't want to go about looking for caterers. With this simple technique, you'll be able to make your own stew and you'll be able to serve your guests. So our stew is ready. After adding the water, I left it to stand for say 10 minutes, so it will, everything will just come together. So let's serve this wonderful stew. Oh my god, this stew is so nice. The face is giving everything it should give. And the meat, I can't wait to have this. So wallahi, I can't wait to have this. It's very nice. I couldn't even help but test 100 times. My husband is salivating, so this is very nice. Serve this and thank me later. Do well to like our page.